truck is covered. That's a lot of snow. This week is going to be an insanely busy week for me. I have my observation this week. I have conferences with parents. We're restructuring our reading and writing blocks, and we're trying to get our PBL off the ground. So let's do it. Guys, before we continue on with the vlog, I do want to say that this video is in partnership with Home Chef. Y'all know that I love me some Home Chef. My mother-in-law loves Home Chef. It has done wonders for my family. It has also done wonders for just my time in general. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys what we're cooking a little bit later on in this video. I do want to say that Home Chef has definitely upped their ante here, because they have now taken the savings offer of $30 off of your first box to now $80. $80 off of your first 4 boxes. So that's $20 off of the first 4 of each of your first 4 boxes, and they don't have to be consecutive. So if you decide to try it out, you get $20 off. You can skip a week or 2, and then you still get $20 off of your second box. So $80 in total of savings. It is by far their best offer that they have ever given to my viewers, and I am just so excited to be able to share that with y'all. So definitely check out the link down in the description box, and you are going to use the code Bridget80 to get $80 off of your first 4 boxes. And yeah, so we're going to continue on with this video. Make sure to check out that link whenever you get a chance. I feel like I am in the corner of my room trying to hide from the sun, because it is bright in my classroom at the moment. So I had my pre-observation meeting today with my principal, and this is for my observation that I'm having tomorrow. All went really well. He really just wanted to know, kind of giving an idea of what is the lessons going to end up looking like. And because of the way that I do my math, it's not really a lesson that he's coming in to see. He's kind of coming in to see the structure of my classroom. So it's more focused on, how is everything running? How am I meeting my students' needs? How are students kind of working through the curriculum piece of it? And I think overall it went pretty well. I mean, I'm hoping that it went well. He did ask me kind of some follow-up questions just based on the structures of my classroom. I'm sorry about the mess. Y'all, this past week or 2 weeks, it's been super hectic in my classroom. But he asked me about the structures of the class, because I do more of a flipped learning style math, where kids are kind of working through the curriculum at their own pace. I mean, mind you, I do push them at their own pace, pushing them. But if they need to have a little bit more instruction on certain skills than others, then I take them a little bit slower and I give them more of that direct instruction. And so it does look a little bit different in my classroom. And I know I've been telling you guys that I was going to do a video on that, and I am. It's just snow days, everything else in between. It's been a hot mess I feel like in my class and at home. I'm sorry, oh, sorry guys, I'm trying to adjust my arm. It's hurting. I can't hold it up. I am just a very weak person. Anyways, so the structure of my flipped learning classroom, that's what I was talking about. It runs a little bit differently. And so I don't know, he was very curious on how everything ends up working out. I mean, I know it's working really well for my students, which is good. Benefit is that I've also had them for a year, so I really know them as learners and individuals. So I am able to kind of truly meet their needs. I will say that one of my groups is at a spot right now where they're going to do a breakout, and it's only one group, and as the kids kind of get closer to that those skills that they are currently on, they will also get to participate in the breakout. So it's not like one person does it and not everybody else gets to do it. So they have a breakout that they're working on. I have it at home, so I have to finish putting it together and then bring it to school tomorrow. I think another group I have 2 groups that I'm going to be meeting with just to go over a class kick lesson with them. And then I have another group that's working on they're going to start their post assessment, and then I have another group that's just started division, so they're kind of getting the foundations of it through my Schoology course. So they're pretty good. I'm just going to end up touching base with them. But I don't have all of the materials that I have for my lessons. I will show you guys those tomorrow, the class kick lessons, and I will show you the breakouts, and also kind of the spiral review that I do with my students as well, which is also something else that I've been kind of trying out with them, and it's been really beneficial to have a spiral practice because they, bless them, they need it. And this isn't like a spiral where it exposes them to all the skills for the year. It's not like that. My spiral is different. I base it on where they are in the curriculum, and I give them about 4 to 6 problems of all of the skills that they've kind of previously learned, or like a little taste of the skills that they've previously learned. To be honest, I'm giving them like the skills that they're probably not going to remember, and a lot of them are like fraction skills, so they have to have that repetitive practice of those skills. So my spiral helps them in that aspect. But yeah, so all went well. I am going to show you guys, or I do want to show you, and I already packed my computer away. What is wrong with me? I need to show you guys what I did for my pre-observation. Look at that sun. Sorry. What I did for my pre-observation, because I have to fill out a form using Oasis that has all these lovely questions that they ask. So let me flip you around. Okay, so basically what I have here is I went through into my Oasis app and I looked at my pre-observation questions, and I took the questions, and those are in bold here, so you'll see them, and I just copy and pasted them into a Word document for me to be able to easily kind of write it. I am not one person that enjoys like trying to save it and make sure that it gets saved. I get too nervous with it, so I keep it all in a Word document. And also, there are a couple of questions in here that I'm going to say that are repetitive, and they don't really change because the kids don't change, so I just kind of left those the same. So, let's see. So basically what I ended up doing is I just went through and I answered some of them. This one goes into like some of the strands of standards that they're going to be learning, prerequisites that they're going to have, looking at like my I can never say that word. Pedagogical. That's awful. I can't say that. Approach that I have, and that talks a little bit about my flipped learning style, really looking at some of the misconceptions that some of my learners have, and a lot of them end up having, especially with the place value unit, they confuse the names, the values of them, especially after the to the right of the decimal, and then when also multiplying decimals, they tend to just want to bring the decimal down versus seeing how many place values there are and then moving the decimal at the end. It goes into some of the characteristics. This is the one that I felt like my learners did not change in it, so I just copied and pasted it. How do I think my learners learn best? So I added in there that it's more about conceptual, and then also having multiple strategies to be able to pull from. So it's not just one strategy is best, but understanding that there are multiple, and really getting them to go through and complete like an error analysis of some of their mistakes that they've previously made. And I think I've edited this in the other version. So if I have any edits and you guys are wanting to comment and tell me, Bridget, you did this wrong, I promise you I've probably already caught it. I always just do it here and then I edit over there. So this one went into, let's see, describe the knowledge and skills of students for whom you are planning the unit and lesson. So what are my kids able to do? So I kind of talk about that. Goes into some cultural backgrounds, looking at like 504s and accommodations, like what am I doing to helping with those, some of the materials that I'm getting from my district and outside of my district. And then going into additional resources, and then knowledge of either of the content and how I teach it, like where are the resources I got for that. So that was it. These are all of the questions that I ended up needing to kind of fill out before my pre-observation. Once I have my observation complete, then I will do a post-observation reflection, and I go through and I have to like score myself. And then my principal will do kind of his like piece of a reflection, and then he'll score me as well. And then I will have like my meeting with him in a couple of weeks probably. It doesn't happen really fast. So that's kind of the gist. That's it. He is observing me in math. He's never seen me in math, which is going to be interesting. He's always seen me in reading and writing. So we'll see how it all goes. I'm getting very hungry. I did spend a little bit of time cleaning up some of my mess because I had a bunch of piles of paper that were just, like I said, piles of paper. I need to go home, and I just really want to focus on my math for tomorrow, especially for my observation. I don't want to do like some like yip-de-doo-dah, like super fancy hootenanny for him to see, but I do want him to see me at least put together. like I know, like I've got all my things together. So I need to make sure that I have my copies, everything's made, everything is up in Schoology ready to go, so that kids are not saying, Miss Backman, I don't have access to this assignment. I really need to make sure that they all have access to the assignments. So I'm gonna go home, and I'm really just gonna focus on that today. I'm not gonna focus on anything else. I will say, we're going into a little bit more of a literacy studio format, which I'm very excited about. We've been working really, really hard on trying to kind of develop this idea a little bit further. If you go out and you look up literacy studio, you will kind of find some information on it, but I think we take it as a MAC team just a little bit further, which is going to be really interesting to see how it all plays out. Today they took pre-assessments. I used the Lucy Calkins pre-assessments because we bought all of her resources for 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. So I have all of those kind of pulled together, and the kids kind of need to finish that. So we're just going to continue working on that piece tomorrow. Okay, I am getting seriously hungry. It's been so lovely catching up with all of you. I hope you are doing well. I'm really sorry that I've been MIA for the last 3 weeks. I'm happy to be back with a camera in my hand. Okay, I am going to go ahead and get all of my things together, and I will see you all tomorrow when the sun is not. So today is observation day. I went on ahead and got a lot of my materials together last night. The 3 kind of biggest pieces that I got together was my breakout box. In just a moment I need to go about the room and start setting up some of the materials for that. And then I have 2 of my class kick lessons, which are my bigger lessons that I have to do to review some skills with some of my learners. I am going to end up pulling out my folder for today to make sure that I have all of my copies made. It's kind of like my typical routine things, guys. Like, it's really nothing super fancy and different. Speaking of kind of my routines, I will have to say that I've been spending just a minute or 2 at the end of the day to go ahead and have my coffee cup and my Keurig cup in my Keurig ready to go for when I come in. And when I do kind of my little loop of turning things on, checking things out, I turn it on, and it just makes me so happy to be able to have my coffee cup right away. Speaking of coffee cups, who remembers this bad boy? I've had this one since kindergarten. It's like the best mug ever. It is huge. See, my head doesn't look as giant. Well, maybe it does. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my file, get my stuff ready for my breakout, and I think I need to go end up making some copies. Breakout is ready to go. I have all of their little tasks inside of the envelopes. I just need to label them so that they know which ones to start with first. But here is what it all looks like. Yay! Fun fact, I couldn't remember the code to this lock, and my husband had to like break into it for me to be able to redo it. We finally figured it out. Thank you. It is now the end of the day and really, really late in the day. I had a meeting right after school, so I had to go to that. And I had my observation today. My appearance is in direct relationship to the way that I felt like my day went. I went up to my principal and I'm like, can I have a redo? Because I feel like it just did not go the way that I wanted it to go. And here's why. So we have, in our MAC team, we have 3 teachers on our team, and we share all of those 75 kids all together. So one of the teachers was out. She was sick, poor thing. I hope she feels better. And normally when they can't get someone to fill, they take the kid and they like put them into different rooms, like 2 or 3 kids into classrooms. Well, we don't do that as a MAC team just because it's too hard for us to be able to manage. So the way that we would do it is that we just take that classroom and we divide it, and we just keep like 13 extra kids in our classes. So I had 13 extra kids in my class today, and it was just a little bit louder than what I'm used to. Kids that are typically not in my math class just needed a lot of direction and a lot of hand holding. I felt like it was just loud. I didn't feel like kids were on task. My principal reassured me that everything was great, that everything that I talked about was exactly what was happening in the classroom. But you know how you just have higher expectations? I feel like my expectations are like way up here, and so I just don't feel like it went well. I just don't feel like it went as great as I wanted it to go. I was to the point where I was tearing up because I felt like it did not go well at all. My principal made me feel better, so I'm not as stressed out about it. But I will say that it was, out of all the lessons that I think I've ever had, this was the hardest one for me today. It just was. So I have to go and do like my post-observation reflection, and I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to copy and paste it over from my Oasis account, just as far as the questions go, and then I will show you guys how I go about like answering that piece. And then I have to score myself, which I already went through and I started scoring. You kind of do like a needs improvement, a proficient, distinguished. Typically, I never mark myself distinguished, to be honest. I will either go from a needs improvement to a proficient, one or the two. I don't really do anything above that. So I have a ton of stuff that I'm going to end up taking home because I just need to sit down and look through some papers. I need to go through my dates. I'm feeling very like discombobulated, especially with this past weekend because I was so very busy. I felt like I haven't had time to just stop and breathe. Are you guys feeling like that? Because like, I'm feeling that way. So I feel like I'm hoping that I'm not the only teacher out there that is feeling super stressed at the moment. I will say, like on the flip side, like a really good thing that happened is we had our music teacher. She reached out to her husband, who's also a music teacher, but I think for a high school in a different county. And the kids did like a Newsies, I don't know if you've ever seen that, but a Newsies show. And they came and did put one on for us, and it was fantastic. So good. Like the kids were rocking it. I was so impressed with them, and the kids also really, really loved it. So it was adorable. So that was a really good thing that happened today. Can I think of another good thing that will put me in a super great mood? Oh, I will tell you one thing that's kind of funny because I can't think of another good thing that happened today, but I will tell you a funny story. So my sweet husband, I love my husband, but he works from home, and so he will take Blaney to school on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Well, yesterday was Monday. He took him to school, and I think around like 2:20 or something like that. It was right when I'm taking my kids to go to special, and I was going for my pre-observation like meeting with my principal. I get a phone call from Blaine's daycare, and I'm like, hello, hi, is this, you know, Blaine's mom? And I'm like, yes. And they said, hey, he's still at school. And I'm like, it's 20 minutes past the time. I was like, they go, we've been trying to call your husband. And in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, what if he has a flat tire? What if, you know, he's hurt or something? I'm thinking the worst of the worst. I'm not really worried about Blaine because I know he's taken care of by the lovely ladies that are there at his daycare. So he has never ever in all the years ever done this. And so I was all stressed out, called my mother-in-law. We finally got through to him. He was like, I'm so sorry. He just ended up losing track of time. He was out somewhere and just lost track. Okay. So went to pick him up. It was about like 25 minutes past the time. We're gonna have to pay the fees. It is what it is. We will be fine. And I think the biggest thing, like I went home, like I stopped at the grocery store. I ended up going home, and like I remember getting out of the car and I told him, I was like, I cannot believe you forgot my son. And I like how, like, as a parent, if you're a parent, you're like it's a my son, your son type situation. I was like, I can't believe you forgot my son. And I was like, oh, how the tables have turned, Trent Daniel, because he will always talk about how his mom forgot him one time when he was at soccer practice. And I'm like, oh, look who has now forgotten their child. So now it is going to be the running joke in our family, and he will never be able to live it down that he forgot to pick up Blaney from daycare because he never let his mom forget for the past like 30 years. Funny, funny, funny. All right, my camera's flashing. That means it's time for me to go. I am gonna head home and I am making a home chef dinner tonight, so I am very excited to kind of share with you guys what we are cooking up. So guys, I just feel like I should announce, one, I am in my comfy clothes and I am in now my happy place. Thank goodness. Kids were super chatty today. Anyways, moving on. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Home Chef. Guys, this is going to be my last video with Home Chef for now. It has been so nice to work with a company that I really, really love and that I support for myself and my family supports, and it's just been really great. So I am so eternally grateful to them because they're fabulous and I just love them. I feel like I'm going a little crazy with the meals that I picked out this week. There are meals that of course I have never done before in my life. I probably have never eaten them either. Well, I know I haven't eaten them. But one of them that I'm gonna do, I think tomorrow, I think is the way my schedule is gonna work, is going to be these like turkey buffalo meatballs with cauliflower. I love cauliflower. I've had meatballs with spaghetti, but I've never had them by themselves. So I'm very, very curious. I will say that my partner, Kim, she raved about how great the meatballs are. So I'm very curious to try these out, but we are not gonna try that today. And I have to tell you guys a little bit of a backstory because so my mother is from Mexico. She's now a Georgia girl. She got like her citizenship a while back ago. Anyways, so I was raised with my Hispanic Latina family, and my husband always likes to make fun of me because I have never, ever, ever heard of this thing called ceviche. And ever since we were dating, we've been married, he will randomly tell me, what? Here comes Blaney. What? Nothing. He will randomly tell me, hey, will you make me some ceviche? And I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what ceviche is. And when I'm scrolling through trying to pick my meals for Home Chef, guess what pops up on the stinking feed? Ceviche. I'm like, all right. I've never had this before in my life, but I feel like because my husband has always harassed me over making ceviche, I was gonna give it a whirl. So that is what we are making tonight. That is one of the things that I love about Home Chef, is the fact that I get to try so many amazing and different foods. It really has opened me up to so many things that I would have never tried before, like radishes. Who would have thunk that I love radishes? And I do. I like me a radish. All right, I need to get my stuff unpacked, figure out what I'm doing. I'm gonna read my directions. I'm gonna put some videos on because that's how I roll when I cook. And let's make this thing called ceviche. Limon. The limon. Some jalapenos. What is this? Frozen mangoes. Babe, did you know mangoes are on ceviche? Oh, look at that. They put some sriracha sauce in this. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Sriracha. Love it.
That I couldn't live his whole life just because his man was crazy. Was, in essence, my God.
She told us Donna's car got stuck going up the driveway road somehow.
Shackelford is sentenced to death.
Massage it with a spoon. Work it, work it, work it.
Why do you watch ID channel without me?
Listen, I have to say that me watching ID has really helped my analogies in the classroom.
Oh,
because today,
that's not good.
I was basically telling the kids that I was the judge and that they were the lawyers, and that even if I didn't read the book, they should be able to convince me with their evidence and their explanations. And I would be like, they would just be like, Judge Spackman, this is what I think, and here's the evidence why, and here's how it ties into it. I had them hooked. They were so hooked. Plus one little girl, really wants to be a stinking lawyer when she gets older. I told her that when she does graduate, she's gonna thank me, or when she wins her first big case, she's gonna thank me, her 6th grade teacher, because I taught her how to have evidence and support it with her explanations.
That's excellent.
Yes! Alright, so it's one of these, and I need to put some of this.
That's plain. Put some red on there, girl. What is this day? I can't see. What's that sauce? What's it supposed to taste like?
Mayonnaise and sriracha.
Mayonnaise and sriracha.
Oh, look how fancy!
Hi. Am I in hostess?
What?
Hi.
Okay, so dinner is over. I took a little bit right after dinner to be able to sit down and finish up the article that I'm writing for a magazine. Sorry guys, I'm not going to tell you where it's from until it comes out. So I have that finished. I am just gonna send it to a friend, have them look over it just to make sure that everything just sounds right. Makes me so nervous. So I finished that, and then everything is pretty much cleaned up, and I just wanted to stop and talk a little bit more about Home Chef. One, I want to talk about some of the benefits. First and foremost, I think it gives me a little bit of time back into my life. Like, I think as a teacher and just being busy and having some of these weeks, like this week, where it's just a hectic week for me, and eating out is just not good for me. And I don't know about y'all, but I can only take so much eating out, as far as like picking up Taco Bell or going to Wendy's. Like, there's only so much of it that I can really take. So it gives me back so much more time in my life. And then on top of that, y'all, it's easy to clean up. It's easy to prep. It's easy to make. It's easy to clean. I am an awful, messy cook type of person. And by the time I'm done cooking it, preparing it, and making like a huge meal, I'm exhausted. I'm ready to go to bed. I feel like I have a ton of things to do between grading and everything else in between life. And I'm just ready to go to sleep. And I feel like with Home Chef, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have that kind of tired feeling after I've been busy in the kitchen, if that makes sense. Also, they have so many different meal choices. For me, I think the biggest piece is just opening up my my mind to so many different types of food that's out there that I have never tried before. Trent always likes to make fun of me because I have never tried a lot of things. Like, I am like this newborn baby coming out, and I just don't have a ton of experiences. I don't have that background knowledge, and I am so excited to be able to have this chance, this opportunity to really kind of broaden my horizons when it comes to foods, and also for my kids too on top of that. So guys, if you have not tried it, I really highly recommend that you go out and try it. Use the code down in the description box. They have that fantastic offer. They're giving you guys $80 off of your first 4 orders, $20 for each one. It doesn't have to be consecutive, so if you end up taking a break in there, no big deal, you'll get the $20 off. That is a fantastic deal, and I'm so grateful for Home Chef for kind of giving that out to my viewers, to all of you. So I wanted to share really quick like my 3 favorite meals out of like all the meals that I have here. Now, I have to say, I have not tried the meatballs. We have not made them yet, so I'll let you know if this ends up being one of my favorites. But as of today, my top 3 meals that I flipping love, one of them is gonna be the turkey burrito skillet. In fact, I've made this 2 separate times other than when I did it here, and it is just unbelievably delicious. I love how fresh it is. It's really good. That is a fantastic like summer meal because of the vegetables. It just feels fresh. The next one is going to be the spinach artichoke chicken. Again, the radishes, the broccoli, the artichoke. I love artichokes. I love the creaminess of them. This was an absolutely delicious meal. And then finally, my last one, the broccoli parmesan risotto. Even though this was a little bit more of an advanced meal to learn how to make, this was so unbelievably good, and I felt like I was in Hell's Kitchen, not even gonna lie. So I I love Home Chef. I love what they've done for my life, for my family, for my time, everything. So guys, I highly recommend trying this out. Okay, I need to get the kids into bed. I need to finish up with my article, get that checked off of my list and off of my plate. And then I got a little bit of reading to do for some of my book clubs. So I'm gonna go do that in the comfort of my bed, and I will see you guys in the morning at school. So on Tuesdays, guys, my son goes to my mother-in-law's and they kind of spend a day together. Sometimes they do crafts, they play games, they go outside, they do all kinds of little things. But yesterday in particular, he made 2 of these. One of which I have right here in front of me. I thought it was so cute. He went through and he added like the little beads. It's like out of focus, and they added the little beads here. He painted it himself. I thought it was adorable, and so I'm gonna stick it outside on my door for a little while, and then I'll take it home and add it to our little art wall. But I loved it. It's adorable. It's such a 5-year-old thing, and it's too cute. I made a teeny tiny stop this morning. I don't know why my voice sounds that way. I apologize. But I made a teeny tiny stop this morning at Lowe's because it was one of my partner's birthday today. And she kind of saw that I decided, remember when did I tell you guys this? I don't think I told you guys this. I decided to jump on the whole bandwagon of people who have doorbells in their rooms. Don't know why it took me this long. A lot of the times I just like to see how it works for other people before I go out and invest the money and try it out myself. But I'm finally joining that little bandwagon. Is that the right phrase? Am I saying that correctly? I hope so. I'm sure my husband will tell me if I did not say that right. But I went out and I have my very own, and I've been using it for I would say about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks. It works really well in my classroom, and I like the fact that I can have it on a separate lanyard. So typically I will just kind of take it off and then leave it next to my door with all my other lanyards that I have. Like I have one for going outside, I have another for like my kids for coming in and out of the room, and now I have this one to it. But she was like, oh my gosh, I want to see how it works. I've been kind of thinking about getting one. Well, guess what? I stopped and I got her one. I ended up going for, this is the Honeywell Mason, I think. It has 6 different tunes. It works really well. Like, that's the tune that I'm currently using right now, and the kids get quiet, numbers go up, and they're focused and listening to me. So I went on ahead and got her one of these, so I am going to now just wrap it before she gets here in just a little bit. Also took the liberty to go ahead and buy another power strip. I have been struggling, and I think I've been struggling for years, y'all, and I don't know why I haven't done this, but this little outlet right here, I have a lot of like my fridge and everything else that's connected to it that's over here on this side, because I just don't have a ton of outlets in this room. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some Velcro on the back of this, stick it up here so that I have more outlets and I don't feel like I'm going to blow something, because this is like protected. Okay, so that's a little bit easier to access. Now I can just turn off my little lights that I have up at the top above my window and turn them on without having any issues at all. And I have extra outlets and it's safer. Let's just be honest, it's safer. So that makes me feel so much better. Okay, I need to get my things unpacked and I'm gonna go check on my partner because I think she is walking in right now. Oh my goodness, I just love her so much. She is so excited about the doorbell. I'm so happy. I kind of thought that, oh my gosh, is this gonna be a ridiculous gift to give somebody for their birthday? But she is like beyond thrilled. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and start focusing on today. I will say that I went home, and after just sitting down with my husband and just talking about the overall day, I'm sorry, I like washed my hair and I got all these little flies. flyaway hairs that are just driving me bonkers. But I just talking with my husband about my day. my sweet principal was like, do you want to redo it? Do you feel like you need a redo? And I think I'm not gonna redo it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna take what I got. I'm gonna reflect really hard on it, and I'm just gonna move on. To be honest, like when I was going through and I started like rating myself, there was nothing that I felt like needed improvement. I just felt like my kids could have done better for that day. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to take it for what it is. We're going to talk about it again today. I'm not going to have 13 extra kids in my classroom, so that's also going to be very beneficial for me. And it's going to be okay. I am going to be okay. If I don't get the most perfect observation scores back, it's okay. And I just need to move on. I need to reflect, and I need to grow as a teacher. Yesterday was just one of those days that was a bad day. It's kind of like PSSAs. It's one day, and my principal knows that one day is not going to really determine how I am or who I am as an educator. One day does not define me. It is what I do collectively all year long with my kids and for my kids. So I'm just going to basically tell him thank you, but I am okay. I felt like it was very nice of him to offer that. However, I will say, can you please just drop in one day so that you can see truly what my class is capable of doing? Not as an observation, but just drop in one day when you have the time to say, oh, here's kind of what it really would look like on an average type of day. And I'm sure he would be more than happy to do that. Okay, so that is kind of how I'm gonna look at it. It is gonna be all right. I feel like I just need to move on. I have a ton of papers that I need to get sorted out. We did end up switching for our reading and writing kiddos. So I have some of my same ones, but I have new ones. So I need to create folders for them to be able to place all of their writing, their pre-assessments that I do, their post-assessments, any collection, goal settings, all of those pages need to go inside of it. This is kind of what I would have referred to as my data binders in the previous years, but we've just been using folders, one, just to cut down on space because binders are just bulky. They were breaking, they were driving me bonkers, so a folder suffices and it does the job perfectly fine. So I need to create their folders for them today so that they can start placing their items inside of it. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm gonna go finish up making my coffee and I will check in with you guys over lunch. So I have to tell you guys, I had full intentions of videoing during my lunch break. However, I went to Chipotle because I was starving, but then I really paid for it because I had the worst heartburn ever. Chipotle's never given me heartburn like that. I don't understand why I had it so bad. Today was a much better day as far as just voice level. I mean, I get that I didn't have 13 extra kids in my class like I did yesterday, so maybe that was the huge factor of it, but it was such a big difference today. The kids were focused, they were working. Every once in a while I would have to kind of get them back on track, but overall it was a very productive day. I will say that I do want to share with you guys that we've focused a lot, we've been focusing a lot on pre-assessments, especially in our reading and writing, because we're going into a new unit. And so they've been working their tail feathers off when it comes to their pre-assessments. But I wanted to show you specifically something that I'm doing in my classroom, and I can't remember if I've shown you guys this a ton. So I'm going to share it with you now. Here we go. So welcome to the corner of my classroom. The corner that I never use in my classroom, or I guess filming wise. So one of the things that I tell anyone and everyone, let me change this angle. Is that better? Is that weird? Hi. All right. But something that I feel as though I try to tell anyone and everyone who will listen to me is to have some sort of a data binder or folder in their classroom. In the previous years, ever since kindergarten, I've always had data binders. And what it is basically it's a location for students to place their learning, to keep track of the growth that they're making, to set goals, and to reflect on their learning. So I have gone from a binder in the past few years to a folder last year and this year, mainly because space, 75 kids, it's really hard to be able to manage it. If you are just a one classroom, a binder is completely feasible and it's very doable, because I did it for many years. But because there's 75 of us and it's moving things around, too much shuffling for us, we've gone to just a file folder. And this is where I have to say that it doesn't have to be anything fancy at all. So I feel as though teachers have this pressure on themselves that they have to have things super fancy. It has to be cute with clip art, all this stuff. It doesn't have to be like that at all. It can be a plain old sheet of paper and pencil. Let's go old-fashioned here. But let me show you guys an example folder and what I would place inside of it. Okay, so I've taken out two different folders. Normally I have them like in a file folder, so you'll see that there's the folder there, but this little sweet pea is not in my group anymore, so I'm handing this off to a different teacher. But you're gonna notice in here, so what I would do is I have them kind of go through a reflection page, and I keep those up front so that they know that you place old pieces, they stay in the back, new pieces stay in the front with the reflections right on top. So what she did is she went through and kind of looked at their writing, the previous two writings that they did, and then they had to find something that they were really good at and then something that they wanted to improve on. And then they wrote it down. They kind of just wrote all of those pieces down, and yeah, I mean, it's a reflection and it's kind of setting themselves as far as a goal of where do they want to go next. And so what I had them do is when I start a new folder for a new writing piece, I place a discussion at the very top, and I have them take, after they do their reflection, they have to type in what their goal is for that writing piece and what do they really want to focus on for that writing piece. So that's very basic, guys. Like, it seriously does not have to be anything fancy whatsoever. And this little sweet girl, I've had her since 4th grade, so she has a ton of stuff in here, but I don't want to show up top because of her name. But what she's doing right here is, this is her assessment, so you can kind of see that that's what she's been working on. Right now we haven't reflected on any of this yet, so this is basically what she has so far. I don't have a reflection on that. But then she has also her previous writings in there. I keep her fluency pages in there. She keeps her reading logs in there. Everything that helps us keep track of her learning and to be able to have us reflect on with her pages for reflection stay in here. We haven't reflected in a couple of weeks because of all the snow. So that's kind of why it looks very bare bones. But yeah, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. And I think that that's kind of what I want to drive home the most. We're going to end up having a discussion, creating kind of our reflection page, and it'll probably be on a sheet of paper because ain't nobody got time to create all the cuteness in the world. And that is all she needs. She just needs somebody to sit down with her, to write it out, and to say, what is it that I'm going to be focusing on? What is my goal? And so that's kind of the purpose that we have for these folders. Like, literally, it has so much stuff in it. It's awesome. I love to see, they like going through and looking back at some of the things that they've done from 4th grade and really seeing how they've grown over the 3 years. It's awesome. But yeah, I mean, seriously, guys, nothing fancy at all. At all. I think the biggest thing that I end up wanting to drive home is that I don't hide any of this from my kids. If at any point they're like, I want to go and check my goal, I want to look and see what I did in my last rating, I want to go and check something, you know, to see how I did on my pre-assessment, my post-assessment, blah blah blah, I let them come over here and grab it. There is no reason why I'm gonna hide the information that is helping them grow as learners. I want them to access that. I want them to use that information because that's how they're learning. That is how they're growing, and that is how they're setting those goals in the first place. So yeah, it's seriously nothing fancy at all. pieces of paper, yo. That's how I'm doing it this year. But it's fine and it works. I think the biggest part about it is the conversation that we're having and the moments when they're sitting down and they're truly reflecting. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. So anyways, that's what I've been focusing all day today on, is getting folders moved, changed, switching some of these out just because of our groups changing, filing papers. I'm gonna be super proud to say this entire basket had so many, it was overflowing with papers that needed to just be filed. And I finally got to it. And it's just stuff that I've graded that I didn't have a chance to put away. But there's kind of their folders. I have green for ELA and then I have blue for math so that the kids can easily kind of find their colors. Again, the reason I do it this way is just because I have 3 classes, 75 kids. It just makes sense for me to do it this way. I have thought about punching holes on one side. So let me flip you. So like if I'm looking at the folder here, I have thought about punching holes here and kind of keeping their goals there and then having all their work here. I honestly just haven't gotten around to it. Just having like the 2 brads up at the very top. But yep, just haven't gotten around to it. And it works. So I'm not complaining. Okay, I told my husband that I was gonna come home at a decent hour tonight because I've been home late every single day this week. And tomorrow's conferences, so I'm gonna be here really, really late at night. And I have to go home and prepare for that. So I'm gonna show you guys what we do. Now we don't print report cards anymore because they're accessing them all online. So we create folders in our Google, like a shared team Google Drive, drop them in there so that we can pull them up while we're having those conversations. But we always set out our table. We always have like a sign-in sheet. We always have a sheet for ourselves just to make notes. And we keep those all together for the entire time so that we can reflect and look back on them to see if, you know, parents say that they want something sent home or if they need another conference at another time, whatever it is, that's what we do. So I will show you guys that in the morning. See you tomorrow. All right, today is conference day. That means this evening after school, we are all here until about 7:45, 8 o'clock-ish to have conferences, to hold our conferences for the spring. I went this morning to Walmart and I picked up the few of like my regular things that I always do for the table. I felt like I did in my first year, and then I couldn't just not do it anymore because parents looked forward to it when they came. So now I'm kind of stuck doing it every time, which is completely fine. I enjoy doing it for them. I hope that they enjoy it. So here's what I do. I set up like this whole table. I'll show it to you. I think we're gonna try to set it up over special. So hopefully I can show it to you. But we set up a table outside of our classroom where we're holding the conferences. And then we have like chairs on one side. Then I will have like a punch or coffee, depends on the season. I think I'm just gonna go for the punch because let's be honest, like I did coffee in the fall and I think everybody's ready for the cold to go away and for like some spring cold fresh items now. So I'm gonna do my punch, which is absolutely delicious. Then we always set up like a cookie platter, and then I put like a plant out there just to make it look nice. We put waters out there, and then you have your sign-in sheet that I put out. So here is what I got. I must be in the mood for cookies because I can't even eat them because of my whole gluten thing, and yet I felt like I went a little overboard with my cookie selection here. So I ended up passing, you know how Walmart always puts out the seasonal cookies, so I ended up picking up some seasonal cookies for today and tomorrow, and then I got my normal like fudge stripes, which everybody loves these, and then I also got the Chips Ahoy but the chewy kind, and then I also have in my cabinet, I picked up some the other week, but they're like your regular like chocolate and then vanilla on the other side with the little cream filling in the middle. That's in there. Then I did for my drink, it's Sprites with pineapple juice, and then I put some lemonade, like powdered lemonade inside of it, and that kind of makes my mixture for that. Picked up some water, bottled waters, and then I also got these really cute thank you cards. I need to write thank you cards. I thought these were adorable, so I picked these up. Also found this like dirt cheap, y'all. Like this was probably like $4 for some reason at my Walmart, but I ended up getting a new tablecloth because I've been using like cut up sheets, which was really ugly the last time. So I picked up a new tablecloth. I thought this one looked really nice. Also got some napkins for the cookies, and then this to help me get through conferences without being crazy. Also, for my gluten-free people, I really like these Amy's gluten-free burritos. They're delicious. I needed to keep some stuff inside of my freezer for when I don't have anything to eat and I can't eat what's in the cafeteria. And then I got this. I am like craving me some Indian food. I might have to make some because my dad is probably looking at this cringing right now because he's probably like, why are you eating that? You can make it yourself. But I just haven't had time and I'm just craving it so bad. So I'm gonna have that as well. Yeah, so that's kind of like my little conference food haul. This morning, I think I'm pretty much prepared for the day. I do need to kind of sit down and just kind of collectively look at my to-do list. I think last night while I was in bed, how many of you ever do this where you're in bed and you like pick up your phone and you have to just make a to-do list because in your brain you're thinking about all the things that you need to get done, and I just needed it out of my brain. So I made a to-do list last night on my phone. So I need to sit down with that and my planner, kind of check some things off. I also need to double check on my meeting this morning because it is a day 6. And I don't know if we are technically meeting. So I need to double check on that. I'll just wait for my partner to get here and then confirm. And I need to send out some emails this morning. So it's a lot of like administrative work today, or at least this morning it is. And I'm gonna put this away until we're ready to set up our table later on in the day. Not sure if you guys are even wondering this, but the group are going on day 3. They have one more lock that they need to finish. One more lock. It's been incredibly challenging for them. They've wanted me to give them hints. They wanted me to just tell them what operation they have to use to be able to solve it, and I'm refusing because they need to be able to think critically and problem solve. And yeah, they're a good group, but one more lock. They were working so hard at the end of the day to be able to figure it out. So hopefully today they will have finally broken out of the box. Good morning, everyone. So I told you guys that I would go through and show you like my morning routine that I do when I come in. I feel like this has been such a game changer for me, but it's like I just walk around the perimeter of my classroom turning all my lights on. Is that weird? This isn't really fancy. This is really nothing. You're probably sitting there like, Bridget, this is nothing revolutionary. Why in the world are you sharing this? Because I want to. But I will have to say, like, my coffee is all ready to go. Have my K-cup in there. All I do, like, this just is the one thing that makes me so happy. And I walk away and continue putting on all my lights. By the way, this thing right here, let me see if you can see it. That has been so nice to have, to just be able to turn on my lights. Holy moly, it's great. It's great. I have a lot of books on my floor. Conferences last night went really, really well. We have our last run of conferences this afternoon. So today is a half day. And from like 12:30 up until 4 o'clock, I think, is our last conference. And yeah, that's it. Now we're gonna be done with our spring conferences, done for the year, unless some parent wants to, you know, sit down with us again later on. Now I need to take my jacket off because I'm to the point where I'm at my closet. See, I told you, it's a really good routine. And then I'm done. Look at that, y'all. All finished, ready to go. So like I was saying, today is gonna be a half day. Our schedule does change up a little bit now because, I don't know if you guys remember. Let me put you down. Do you remember last year where as our team, we would split the kids up? So like one of us would have like a grade level and then the kids would go to lunch as a grade level. Well, we decided to stop doing that because we felt it was a waste of a day, and it was every single month that we were doing it, and it was such a pain in the hiney. So what we decided to do instead is we just bring the kids back to the classroom and we just have lunch with them. And so we kind of watch the rooms and allow each other to go to the bathroom, but they're just here inside of the classroom, so that way we don't have to like have them split out. We can continue to at least have a couple of our groups, and it just works out so much better for us. This morning, I think we're really gonna have just 2 different blocks. We have a pause meeting, which is like basically a big, huge morning meeting for the entire school. They're going to be unveiling more teachers to go into our Camp Read Some More. So we're doing this big, huge initiative where the classrooms have set goals, and we are trying to reach our goals as a class to be able to track how many books we are reading together. We are at 548 books, and we said that we would try to read 900. I have a lot of readers in my classroom. So we log that in every time that we are about to have a pause meeting, and then they just kind of unveil it for everyone, and then they say what teachers are going to be staying in our courtyard. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a little bit. You could totally tell. So we have this courtyard in the middle of our school that's completely like locked off. And what we're gonna do is in May, there's gonna be camps. Like we're gonna have like a whole camping thing. We do like a family cookout where the families come in and we, you know, have meals that we give families. We have games that we'll do. But the teachers that are locked in for Camp Read Some More, because students are meeting their goals, we lock more teachers in as the students meet their goals. They're going to end up staying the night in the courtyard and then have to be at school the next day. So the kids are going to have like a little camera where they're going to be able to kind of log in to be able to see the teachers that are staying in Camp Read Some More, which is basically our courtyard. So we'll see which teachers get unlocked. We don't really know who's getting unlocked. We got to sign up to say that, oh yes, we would definitely do it, or no, we would not. But we don't know every week which teachers are going to end up getting locked in. We'll see. So other than our big pause meeting, we're going to do word study in the morning. We'll have lunch, and then after that we're going to continue finishing up with some writing assessments and meeting with kids for conferences to be able to set some goals for them. So that's really about it, and then I have to get ready for conferences. So unfortunately, what's going to end up happening is I am not going to be able to video at all all day long, just because as soon as the kids head out, I have to get the table set up. Yet again, the exact same table. I'm not doing anything different. Get the table set up yet again so that we have it ready for conferences and for parents, and then we jump right on into it. So hopefully I'll be able to video just a little bit afterwards, just kind of touch base with you guys. But that's kind of my week in a nutshell. So busy week, conferences, observation, holy moly, kids getting switched up and changed. I got my folders done. They're in the file cabinets. I'm feeling super great about that. So yeah, it was busy, a little stressful, a little bit of emotional roller coaster, but I'm okay, and everything is going to be fine, and next week will be just as great. I will also say that Monday, I have a day off on Monday, and my kids do not have a day off on Monday because we're in different school districts. So it's crazy. I told Trent, I was like, we should like go to lunch like grown adults. How crazy is that, without children screaming their heads off? Like, that's so fantastic. So I think we're gonna do that on Monday, which will be really nice. All right, I need to get a couple of things unpacked. I really need to go to the bathroom. You didn't really need to know that. And get my things together for the day. Well, my friends, I have officially been placed as a Camp Read Some More camper. Looks like I'm gonna be locked in to our courtyard in May. Oh, how interesting will that be? I'm wearing my t-shirt, so I have it. It's just like Camp Read Some More. It has our school, and then let me see if I can show you the back. Yep, so that's pretty much it. I am going to be a camper in May. I don't really like camping, to be honest. I've only been once. It didn't go so well. Okay, so we have our table set up for conferences. We're gonna have conferences until about 4:15, 4:30 or so, and then that's gonna really be it. I'm gonna pack my things up and then end up going home. I do have some of my things already inside of my bags ready to go, so I'm not going to be staying here for a really long time. I'm very excited that I have a 3-day weekend, so I'm just really stoked about getting to sleep in tomorrow. All right, I'm going to get my computer, my iPad, everything that I need set up in my partner's room because we're going to have conferences in her room, and yeah, let's do it. Here we go. Conferences are done. That is a wrap, folks. We are finished. I just need to now clean up a little bit and then I'm gonna head home. It's starting to snow. I want to be home. I'm so unbelievably tired after this really busy week. Thank you guys so much for following along with me. I'm curious, are you guys done with conferences? Do you do student-led conferences? I'm always curious about how many schools out there do student-led conferences, but you can already tell my voice is like starting to crack because I'm tired of talking. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please do not forget to use that code Bridget80 to get $80 off of your first 4 boxes. That's $20 off of each of your first 4 boxes for Home Chef. They're fantastic. I really think that you're gonna enjoy it just as much as my family does. And it's really gonna bring a little bit back to your life, which is what we all need in this world. So guys, thank you so much. And then I will talk to you all next time. Bye. Did you see boxes right there? All right, no, it's okay. I'm sorry, that was really funny. All right, I'm really gonna talk to you guys next time. Bye.